Good morning, everybody. Hey, glad you're with us today. We are getting closer and closer to the end of the year, and we'll talk about the last few little bit of earnings that are coming in today. And when Dave joins us in just a few minutes, as we continue to get more economic data in as well. Stay tuned. Dave will be with us here in just a minute.
5.7 Light FM. It's Human League and Morning Dave checking in on your human wealth at the moment at 8:40 now. Advisory services offered through Second Half Financial Partners, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. The opinions voiced and information provided in this material are for general informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which investments are appropriate for you, please consult with a financial advisor. Second Half Financial Partners, LLC does not provide tax or legal advice. Please consult your tax or legal advisor regarding your particular situation. Now, do that. Check in with us each morning, too. Philip Statler from Statler Financial Services in downtown Sebring on the telephone to talk about what's going on this week. A lot of it, believe it or not, is government-related because we got a Federal Open Market Committee meeting this week and no current data. That ought to make things real interesting, won't it, Philip?
It will. It's going to be interesting to see. I mean, I think that the only really numbers that they've been able to really ascertain is going to be labor market. I think there's some concern there about what's happening in the labor market. It's going to be interesting later this morning, Dave, to see what the JOLTS report says, and how that might be. I mean, they're going to be grabbing for any little bit of piece of information they can find.
Yeah, the JOLTS report we're going to be getting this morning is ancient history because it's the September and October version. We still don't have any November numbers, which means I got to assume that the governors are going to be looking real heavily at their beige book numbers they got a couple of weeks ago, the anecdotal figures from the different Federal Reserve districts, because that really, the feel that their presidents have, is the closest thing the Federal Reserve, or us for that matter, have to any idea what's currently happening in the economy, because junk can change inside of 30 days, as we've well seen. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. It can definitely change in a heartbeat. On the economic front, Dave, the only thing we really had hit the wire this morning was the National Federation of Independent Businesses, their optimism index.
Mm-hmm.
And that November number actually increased. Um,
Okay.
yeah, by about 0.8%. It was 98.2 last month. In October. It was expected to stay there. It actually went up to 99 for the month of November. So that was a little gleam of good news.
Absolutely. I was mentioning yesterday morning when I said it was on the hopper coming out, that'd be a nice confirmation going up because it then reflect that kind of surprising increase in consumer confidence that we got on Friday when they didn't expect it to go up, and it actually did notch up a little bit. Maybe we're not in the fall humor that we thought we were, huh?
Well, maybe business anyway. I mean, it'd be interesting to see how we look after we get through the Christmas season, and especially retail.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Speaking of the season beginning, let's set the table. Yesterday was, let's see, whoops, now I'm back on futures again. Let me get to yesterday's numbers. Here we go. It was a red day on Wall Street. The Dow was down by a little under 0.5%, down 216 points. Standard & Poor's down by 24. NASDAQ was down by 32, and the Russell 2000 was off by about 0.5% as well. So it was kind of a broad-based retreat. And I got to assume a lot of it is taking money off the table in advance of seeing what we know what the Fed decision is going to be, almost certain, but what they say after the decision might very well make a lot of investor strategy decisions for them, wouldn't you suspect?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's going to be it'll be nice once we get what that really looks like. And obviously, news is going to help, right? Anytime we get some news, it's going to help people make decisions, and hopefully for the good, Dave.
Now, keep our fingers crossed. News that's out there at the moment on the financial front, there's nothing anybody loves more than a food fight, unless, of course, you're invested in it. Yesterday morning, the announcement was out and being chawed over about Netflix having struck a deal to acquire Warner Brothers Discovery, the other big media conglomerate, To which our friends over at Paramount said, "Whoa, wait a minute. We were interested in that too." So, on top of Netflix's deal, Paramount then turns around and mounts a hostile takeover bid going straight to the shareholders. Like you said, it's always fun watching a food fight if you don't have any money on the table with it, wouldn't you think?
Well, it's going to be interesting to see who wins that battle. I mean, who's willing to pay the most, and let's face it, they're Paramount's in a good position, or Discovery's in a good position to make the most of it. Thankfully, hey, another tidbit, Dave. Gas
Yes, sir.
prices has dropped to the lowest level in nearly 5 years.
Holy
Average
crud.
was about 2.79 a gallon.
You didn't find it that low around here, did
I
you?
have not found it that low around here. Now, I will
Huh.
say, I think I paid pretty close to that at the station I go to after I got my cash discount and my loyalty discount. Um, I mean, I had a 20-cent discount between the two of them, so I was pretty close to that yesterday.
I think the lowest I've seen for the last few weeks has been 285, and I'll admit to not being real good about taking all the discounts and the loyalty cards. So you're smarter than I am, but yeah, I haven't seen $3 a gallon in quite some time, and I'm seeing that as being good news overall. Interest rates today are going to affect a lot of things. Obviously, commodities and the price of oil and eventually gas as well. But for all of the stuff they're talking about the tariffs are causing all kinds of problems with trade with other countries. China announced yesterday that they have now hit a trade surplus above $1 trillion. Boy, we've really choked off trade with China, haven't we?
That just doesn't even sound good. Hey,
Yeah,
but
it
talking
does need to
about
be. Yeah,
But as I say, talking about interest rates, we've not really looked at
yeah.
them for a little while. I want you to know, I'm looking this morning, the 30-year Treasury has made a huge jump. Last week it was trading around that 4.5, 4.6. It's up to 4.8% this morning on the 30-year government Treasury.
That was one of the top line headlines that I had elsewhere in my pile here to talk to you about because all of a sudden bond yields are going up while we're expecting interest rates to go down after tomorrow afternoon. That really doesn't make a whole lot of sense on an intuitive basis, does it?
It doesn't really add up at all.
No, and mortgage rates also are ticking upward again ahead of the Fed decision, which just sometimes Wall Street doesn't have to make sense at all, does it?
As a lot of times it doesn't make sense.
Most of the, you've heard me say it before, and I know our regular listeners have too. Wall Street is very often the study of abnormal psychology. Talking about things coming up this week, we've obviously got the federal interest rate decision coming out tomorrow afternoon at 2, but a few name brands have been reporting their quarterly results too, and one of them, one of the big industries, how did the Toll Brothers people do?
Well, they're the building company. They build houses. They do a lot of those developments. And
Mm-hmm.
remember, we had KB Homes, I think it was, last week, and they missed on their report. Well, Toll Brothers is in the same camp. They missed on their fourth quarter. They came in at like $4.58. They were expected to make like $4.89 a share. So they missed, and so they're trading down about 5.3% this morning.
Ouch. Big company like that, that hurts.
Well, I think it just shows that, real estate's slowing down. I saw another article that, the amount of folks that are delisting their property, taking it off of the real estate list for sale because they just don't like the prices they're seeing. They think they want more, and so they're willing to pull it off the market for a while and see what happens with real estate prices.
I've got a couple of relatives in the real estate business up north. They're not having a lot of fun, and they're green with envy at what we consider a hinky market around here because up there are some real difficult times selling at anything resembling an acceptable price up north.
Yeah, yeah, I believe it. I was trying to see what other earnings we actually had besides just some tidbits here and there. AutoZone reported, the
Yep.
big automotive parts retailer. and they also reported worse than expected results for it'd be their first fiscal quarter. They missed by 50 almost 50 cents a share, came in at $31.04 a share. They missed on revenue as well. So that's got them trading down a little over 2.5%. Let's remember, Dave, that's not a cheap stock. It's trading right now at $3,670. They're one of those stocks that has not done uh, a 10 for 1 or 100 for 1 split to get their price down.
They seem to enjoy being a premium priced stock. I got a lot of listings, but I'm betting a lot of them are going in after the close this afternoon, right?
Yeah, they must be. And we do have a couple tidbits I think that are worth mentioning. Um, Arias Management, which won't mean anything to anybody probably, but they're an alternative investment manager, but they are getting ready to join the S&P 500 on Thursday. Um, so that has their price up about 7.5%. Now, here's the deal. They're going to replace a company called Kellanova, which must be a candy company because they're going to get bought out by Mars. So I'm assuming it's candy, but I could be wrong. So an unknown company getting kicked out of moving out of the S&P 500, and a no name company coming into the S&P 500.
You can't expect when they're one of the 500 biggest companies in the country, we would have heard of them, but neither one of those names rings a bell for me.
No, not at all. Not at all. CVS reported, I think a week or two ago, but they came out with some new information. They updated their 2026 guidance better than what was projected by the analyst. They're trading up almost 3% this morning.
That helps. Generally, when you end up having to revise a report after it comes out, that's bad news even when you revise it upward. But I guess when you change your guidance, that helps, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Well, to re-summarize and put it back on the table, it was an off day yesterday. Things look kind of sort of flat this morning from what I'm seeing. 45 minutes before we open, how do the futures look?
Yeah, it's just a tinge. I mean, and truly a tinge of red, Dave. We've got the Dow Jones Industrial 30 down $21. The S&P 500 is down $2, and the Nasdaq 100 is down $39. So not much at all, but it is a tinge of red. On the other side of the coin, we've got silver making another big jump, up 90 cents. That's a little over 1.5% to $59.30 an ounce. It is moving towards 60 quickly.
Wow.
Gold's up about 1/3%, and crude oil is heading down 1/3% to $58.70 a barrel.
And I think that's a little lower than it was the yesterday morning at this time, too, so it's on the right trend day by day. Overseas markets, it was generally an off day in the Asian Rim yesterday. They didn't look at us and say, uh-oh, doesn't look good over there, so they sold as well. In the European markets, kind of a mixed bag. It got some up, some down, but on balance, the European index halfway through the trading day over there is down by about 0.2% in just the red wins and a squeaker as far as the European markets are concerned. Getting my retirement together, it's time to get a plan because dumb luck hasn't worked so far. How do I find you to get a plan in place, Philip?
They can give us a call at 863-382-0037 to schedule just a 30-minute phone call where we'll answer their questions, make sure they're on track for that retirement they always dreamed of. It's simple. Like I say, give us a call, 863-382-0037. And then catch us the Statler Financial Radio Show this weekend, 6 a.m. and noon on Saturday, 10 a.m. Sunday morning on Highlands News Talk, 7:30 a.m. and 95.3 FM.
And back here again tomorrow morning, same time on Light. You have a good day for the rest of it, my friend.
All right, talk to you soon.
Thank you, sir. It's 105.7 Light FM and Statler Financial Services. Philip Statler.
Hey, folks, again, I want to thank you for joining us today. Have a great day. Join us again tomorrow. Thanks. Bye now.